We are joined now by Stormy Daniels' attorney, Michael Avenatti. Michael, good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning.
You were here almost 3 weeks ago, and I asked you whether there was any evidence, documentary evidence, text messages, photo evidence that verified that Stormy Daniels had the affair she claims that she had. You said to me, that's a question that Miss Daniels will have to ultimately answer. Cut to last night, she's asked directly about this on 60 Minutes, and she says, my attorney has instructed me not to answer. So, does she or doesn't she have this evidence?
Again, we're not going to get into the details of everything we have at this time, and there's a reason for that. We're in the very early stages of this case. We understand the American people want all the information right now, immediately. It would make no sense for us to play our hand as to this issue, and we're not going to do it right now.
Why not? This is the very moment you need to do it. She has denied it 3 times. She has stated this affair didn't happen. Isn't this the very moment she should come forward and, as you might say, put up or shut up if she has this evidence?
Put up or shut up. She sat down with a major journalist and answered some very tough questions. Where's Mr. Cohen? Is he coming on after me? I don't think so. Where's President Trump? Is he going to come on after me? She's answered, let me finish. She's answered some very difficult questions. We're not going to play our hand right now, and the reason is because we have a case to win.
But wait a minute, Michael. You tweeted a picture of a DVD or a CD suggesting that there was going to be more evidence. That's the suggestion, right? You don't disagree.
And there will be more evidence.
And now you're being coy and not saying it. It seems like you're playing games.
I'm not playing games. There will be more evidence. It's just not going to happen right now. Everyone wants immediate gratification. It's not going to happen right now.
Let's talk about this threat that she said was made against her 7 years ago in a parking lot. She said somebody came up to her, her infant daughter was right there, and said it would be a shame, I'm paraphrasing, it would be a shame if something happened to this little girl's mother. She took it as a threat. Do you know who made that threat?
Again, that's not all she said. There was a specific reference by that individual to Mr. Trump. So it's pretty clear that it could have only come from one place and one place only. We are in the process of running to ground exactly who that was, and I am confident at the end of this that we're going to discover it.
Do you feel you know right now who it was?
Right now?
Yes.
No.
Do you have you talked to her and asked her for a physical description of this person?
I'm not going to get into the details of my communications with her, but what I will tell you is she can describe, excuse me, that person in great detail.
Have you tried to show her pictures and say, is this the person you saw? Is that the person you saw? She said on 60 Minutes, if he walked right in the door right now, I'd know him.
We are in the process of identifying who that was. She remembers it like it was yesterday because, like any mother in that situation, it was terrifying.
You said in a tweet again, there can be no question where this threat came from. It could have only come from one place. Do you mean it comes from somebody related to Trump, or do you mean a particular person?
No, it had to be someone that was related or sent by Mr. Trump or Mr. Cohen. There's no other logical explanation.
And you are not in any way suggesting it was Mr. Cohen himself?
No, we know it wasn't Mr. Cohen.
Yeah, but you think Mr. Cohen may have directed someone to make this threat?
Someone from that side had to have directed it because it would make no sense for it to come from anyplace else.
Recently, a former playmate, Karen McDougal, went on television and talked about her own relationship. She said it was a 10-month relationship with Mr. Trump. She actually said she was present at the very golf tournament in 2006 in Las Vegas where your client, Stormy Daniels, says she met Mr. Trump and had this liaison with him. Ms. McDougal said she doesn't know when he would have found the time because she was with him the whole time except for the golf tournament. Have you tried to figure out the timeline? She said it might have been possible if he had stayed an extra day.
First of all, the golf tournament was not in Las Vegas, as you mentioned. It was rather in Lake Tahoe.
Lake Tahoe, thank you.
That's number one. And number two, she did not say she was there every night. Number three, we stand by what my client has said. I think the American people found her very, very credible. There's no question this happened.
Have you tried, though, to match up the timeline so that the two stories jibe?
Well, Ms. McDougal has not said that my client's not telling the truth.
She hasn't.
And my client has not said that Ms. McDougal is not telling the truth. There's no question this happened. Ms. McDougal had a separate room from Mr. Trump. She wasn't there every night. She doesn't know how many nights Mr. Trump stayed there. There's a whole host of possibilities.
Actually, talking about this interview with Ms. McDougal, there were some similarities between their stories. Let me play a bit of those interviews.
He's like, wow. You are special.
When he said, you're really special.
You remind me of my daughter. You know, he's like, you're smart, beautiful.
He said I was beautiful like her, and, you know, you're a smart girl.
What do you make of those similarities?
Well, I think the similarities are striking, and I think it's important for your viewers to understand that my client sat for her interview weeks before Ms. McDougal gave her interview, even though Ms. McDougal's interview aired first.
Let's talk about your client now. She's told her story. Does she have more to say? Did she leave anything out?
She has a lot of things to say. The interview that was conducted originally was about 2 hours in length. There were a number of details and facts that were left out of the final product because 60 Minutes only has so much time. Obviously, they're trying to tell a very broad story in a very finite period of time. She has many more details and facts, much more to say, and we're going to get to the bottom of what happened here relating to the agreement, what Mr. Trump knew, and where this money came from.
Is there anything left out of her interview, something on the cutting room floor that you feel is relevant and could share now?
Not that I'm prepared to share now, but what I will say is that she was prepared to discuss intimate details relating to Mr. Trump. She can describe his genitalia. She can describe various conversations that they had that leave no doubt as to whether this woman is telling the truth. And if she's not telling the truth, let the president take to the podium and call her a liar. Let the president come forward and say it never happened. There is a reason why this $130,000 was paid, and it wasn't paid because she made the story up. It's absurd.
Michael Avenatti, thank you for being with us this morning.
Thank you.
Keep us posted.
Hello, Today fans. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking that button down there and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives.